So today's theme is on peace as we move into our time of working through the Advent themes together. And of course, Advent being that time leading up to Christmas and that time that we are focusing on those qualities of faith, of peace, of joy, and of love. So today is all about peace, all about peace. And we're going to be working in our journals. I'm going to be demonstrating a mixed media process today. Here's the sample page that I shared out on our social media yesterday, letting you know sort of what we're getting into today. So those of you that like to prepare your materials in advance could stock up on everything and have it all at your fingertips. Of course, as always, you're welcome to move through this process in whatever way your heart guides you to explore the theme. So when we're talking about peace, or about really any of the qualities that we explore through Advent, of course, we are acknowledging and preparing for the celebration of Christmas, the birth of the Christ, but we are also honoring and celebrating these qualities as they exist in us, because the truth is that that divine spark is in everyone. And when we look at it from that perspective of noticing and honoring these qualities within us, we can then take something that's, about a time way back when and really make it personal, really make it practical to our everyday lives. So it's not just about, something in a history book sort of study, but studying the themes as they apply in our lives right now, this very day. Yesterday, the daily word message was on peace, and I'd like to read that for you. The word itself is peace, and the affirmation is peace flows through me and blesses the world. The light of God shines within all people. I pause to remember this truth as I consider the world and my relationship to it. Jesus said, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you." The same divine light that lived in Jesus is shining brightly in me. My peace is a gift I choose to give to the world. I bless the world by affirming the kingdom of God is among us here and now. It is through this Christ-centered awareness that I project a consciousness of peace. I live, move, and have my being in the light, love, and peace of God. I expand my awareness of divine ideas through prayer and meditation, and I do my part to uplift the consciousness of the entire planet. I am walking in the light of God, and I am at peace. Peace flows through me and blesses the world. When we remember this awareness, when we remember to sink into the peace at the core of our own being, it does become a blessing. It becomes a blessing that all those who we interact with feel that peace. They feel that sense of calm. They feel that sense of all is right, all is well, regardless of outer appearances, which can be a challenge sometimes, right? To feel that sense of all is well, regardless of outer appearances. And that's when those tools of prayer and meditation, and of course here, art journaling, come in to process life, to process so that we can move through whatever is going on and move into that sense of peace. Move into that awareness of that presence of divine light right where we are. And what a better way to start to move into this Christmas season than to remember this peace, remembering that peace at the core of us and letting that be a blessing out into the world. So today's focus is going to be on mixed media, again, if that's the process that you choose to use. But the reason why I've chosen mixed media, and we've done this before in the group, is because it allows us the opportunity to move through different layers. It really becomes a layering process where we can dump onto the page, perhaps any fears or doubts or anything that is less than peace, and move through it so that the final image that is left at the end is that reflection of that inner light, that reflection of peace. Now, I said at the beginning that perhaps some of you are already feeling that state of peaceful bliss. And if that is the case, then you can still move through these layers, but moving through and deepening with each layer, deepening that sense of peace in the moment, connecting with it, connecting with that sense, that peace like a river, right? That gentle flow that is peace, that is within you. On this particular page, as I said, I worked through many layers. So we're seeing here the surface. We're seeing the outer surface of what was revealed at the end. But I want to take you through the process itself. Here is where I started with this process, writing. The first layer was writing, and I actually wrote first, going down the page, then I turned my book to the side and I started writing on the side, like kind of sideways into it. And then I flipped it on the diagonal and started writing diagonally. One of the reasons I enjoy doing this type of process is it becomes a way to release whatever is coming through me, to be present to it without being attached to it. You know, sometimes when we're writing in our journal, this nice, neat writing, then we want to like be able to see what we wrote later, or we become attached to the writing itself. But here I was using the writing as simply that first layer. And in this case, it was a gratitude layer of all of those times in life where I set out with an intention on something and I saw it come to fruition. So for me, it was sort of a deepening of faith and working through that process. I then took some purple paint, literally squirted it from my craft paint tube right onto the page, and I used an old gift card to smear it across the page, which gives it a transparent color, also a really thin layer that dried quickly for me. So then I was able to start adding some collage images. So while the paint was drying, I pulled out my magazines and started flipping through and just choosing things that were calling to my heart in the moment. So again, this being a continuous process, just from writing to painting to then just listening to my heart, what was coming forward. And then to start bringing all the images together. And again, to release that attachment to a specific image, I added some gold paint over it. And again, with that old card, just smearing it across, and then started adding some texture. You can see down at the bottom there. And that was through a stencil, just putting paint over a stencil. And then I started adding some purple back into it. And then these final embellishments. So really the process itself became that layering, you know, that taking it deeper each time. And with each layer, then sinking into the idea of peace, sinking into, you know, first for me, it was that building of faith, which is last week in Advent, that focus on faith. And then moving into, you know, what in my life speaks to peace. And for me, these two words, successful, balance, were the words that jumped out at me. And so then there was the ladder, not quite intentional, but once I put it on there, I was like, oh, balance, I get it. You know, it's like your intuition of when we kind of lean into this process sometimes, it starts giving us, you know, colors or ideas, imagery, words that speak right to our heart. So that now when I see this page, it feels like peace to me, this sense of balance, this sense of nature and beauty, and even the colors themselves, sort of speak to this royal sort of peace, this deeper sense of peace. So as you move into your journal practice today, of course, you could do this with paper, torn paper, and doing a mixed media project in that way. You could do this with watercolor paint splatters, whatever helps you to really just move through from the point of where you are into processing that presence of peace within, that we then can shine from that peace out and bless the world. All right, so I invite you to take a moment where you are and just become comfortable. Let your body rest into the space. If you are seated, perhaps notice your feet on the ground. Notice your body supported by the chair. If you're standing, notice that rootedness at the ground and feel it support you throughout your entire body. Take a couple of deep breaths here, letting the breath become a centering point to deepen the sense of peace in the present moment. And as you continue breathing without controlling the breath, simply set an intention that with each exhale, release any tension or stress in the body. Release any tension or stress in the mind, so that the breath itself becomes a cleansing agent. Breathing in peace, releasing any tension. We'll move now into a moment of silence, continuing to let the breath cleanse our mind, cleanse our bodies, that we are left rested in the peace of spirit here and now. We breathe now into silence. On the next breath, begin to bring your awareness back to this moment, back to this present time, this present space, and carrying with you the peace of spirit, the peace, the divine center of your being, peace of the heart. We give thanks for this opportunity to lean deeper into the awareness of peace, and so it is. And as we flutter our eyes open, we prepare now to move into our journal experience, letting the journal process, the creative process, take us deeper into the awareness of peace. So it is. So I will put on some gentle music for us to create to. You will have about an hour for your creative processing, and then we'll come back together into the group for a time of group share to simply process what the experience was for us and share with each other, holding this space for one another as well. So I invite you to stay online if you wish to do so, or you can pop off and hop back in about an hour. So check your clocks and see you then. And I will be monitoring the chat and checking in with you throughout the process as well. So please feel free to use the chat at any time. To thank you for the love and support that you share with this ministry through your donations and tithes. As always, you can give online at unityartsministry.org, or you can send a check to us at Unity Arts Ministry, 1901 Northwest Blue Parkway, Unity Village, Missouri, 64065. And if you would like to share your art, please do so. We have a Facebook group at Creative Spirit Art Journals so that we can share with each other, or share on social media and tag us at Unity Arts Ministry. The recording of today's episode, as well as archives of other episodes, can be found on unityartsministry.org and are also available on our YouTube channel and Facebook.